Hello, folks. Welcome to another Whiskey Colin episode. You might say part two. I just shot a review here of Buzzard's Roost, toasted American oak, straight bourbon whiskey. And I thought it'd be fun to also do a little compare on this one to some Garrison brothers and some Elijah Craig. It reminded me a little bit of, of these. So I thought let's do a little flight and let you guys know what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and what it's like here. So yeah, I hope you've got some bourbon yourself. Always fun to have a little bit of a back and forth and compare, I find. Just clean my palate here. Yeah, the first one I just wanted to start with, I think I've reviewed Elijah Craig on the channel before. Love Elijah Craig. But I'm going to go back and forth with this one and let you folks know what I think. This is a fresh bottle. Haven't had Elijah Craig for a few months at least. So it's always nice to go back to. If I can just get this to open up, of course. There we go. Took a little doing, but you know what? Sometimes you just gotta relax, and that's the whole point. I find of drinking whiskey, it's about relaxing. Don't try to rush things too much. Just enjoy life. So hopefully you guys are enjoying some bourbon yourself right now. There we go. See, this guy is being stubborn. Okay, there we go. So let's see if we can get cork pop out of this sucker. Oh yeah. So Elijah Craig, just gonna pour this here and let it open up a little bit. Elijah Craig, if you guys aren't familiar at all with this is a 47%. It's a small batch Elijah Craig Kentucky Straight Bourbon. Just a wonderful, a very, very great value too, I find, at least where I am. And Garrison Brothers is another one that I really like, another bourbon that's one of my favorites, if not my favorite bourbon. And so this one is also 47%. And it's small batch as well. And Garrison Brothers every bottle of Garrison Brothers is overflowing with the finest gourmet grade ingredients on the planet. The nectar inside was made from a sweet mash bill and heat forged in scorching Texas sun, extracting all the flavor possible from our new American white oak barrels, yielding a darker, richer, and fuller bourbon than any out there. So, yeah, so this is kind of one that I've always really liked as well. So I'm going to pour that one as well, and we'll just let it open up a little bit in the bottle, or sorry, in the glass, I should say. And this is the first time using my new flight thing here. I have here as well. Got this as a gift, Christmas gift. I believe it was from my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, brother-in-law Gil, sister-in-law Rona. So thanks, guys. A little shout out to you guys. And okay, so let's see what these are like. So if I recall, Garrison Brothers is a little bit of a really nice thick texture. That's one of the things I really like about it. Almost waxy in a good way. I say that sometimes, and it's a compliment. And it's, to me, I can taste a lot of vanilla and a waxy kind of composition, which I absolutely love. Elijah Craig tends to be vanilla as well, but not quite as strong vanilla and not as thick, but a little bit more oaky, so to speak, and maybe a little bit hotter too, maybe a little more spicy, a little more heat involved. So I wanted to, and as Buzzard's Roost, as in part one, I sort of talked about, it was kind of maybe in the middle in some ways. Like you get the vanilla, some charred oak, kind of in the middle in terms of texture between these two. So I thought it'd be a lot of fun to just taste them back and forth. So I'm just going to take one more sip of this Buzzard Roost just to kind of set my palate as the initial comparative here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so sort of just a nice, rich, light honey drizzled on brown sugar on a cooked cinnamon bun. You know, that's the kind of thing I'm getting, which sounds great, doesn't it? So I'll just clear my palate here with a little water. I'm just going to head over to Elijah Craig here. Elijah Craig's nice color as well. Maybe a little bit, pretty close in color, I gotta say. Yeah, on the nose, it's yeah, again, maybe a little more of an oakiness to it. Yeah, definitely more woodsy and oaky. I would definitely say. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I would say maybe a slightly thinner texture than the Buzzard's Roost. And the first half of the sip is a little bit less flavorful. But the second half of the sip definitely kicks in with some oak, some wood, vanilla, and the finish really lingers in your mouth. You just get kind of a whole bunch of pops of those flavors come in, kind of from about mid-sip all the way through to the finish. Kind of really lingers well. And not so much in a coatingness of the mouth, more in just the flavor just seems to sort of stick around in a really pleasant way. One more sip here, folks. Yeah, the second sip definitely getting a little bit more sweetness, a honeyness to it, and more vanilla coming out. So it's really kind of settling in. Again, it's just cracked the bottle, so sometimes a freshly cracked bottle needs a little bit of time to open up slightly or just kind of get itself rolling. But very flavorful. You know, on the nose, you know, the nose is really coming around again too, even more. There's a lot of flavor in the nose. Again, just really vanilla, light honey. Quite similar. You know, the Buzzard Roost might come off even just a hint tinny or vinegary, or almost acidic tasting or something compared to the Elijah Craig. And part of that might be because this is a little more woodsy and oaky, and so this is going to come across as just a little bit. So you know, almost a little bit of a touch of vinegar, not in a bad way, but just a little bit different. And I definitely think even more vanilla in the Elijah Craig again, compared to the Buzzard's Roost. Interesting. Yeah, I'm just looking again here if Elijah Craig has any tasty notes in the bottle. I don't think it does. No, it's pretty. They keep it pretty on the down low here, at least on the bottle. And like I've said before on this channel many times, I'm more of a taster than a researcher. Sometimes I just like to not know quite as much and just really see what the taste brings out. And that's what I get. I just get it over. I think I have read before Elijah Craig has vanilla in it, but and that's kind of always been a type of flavor I just love in bourbons. And so speaking of vanilla, I really feel like Garrison Brothers has that type of flavor in it, that's for sure. So I'm just going to give that a drink, clear my palate real quick. Let you folks know what I think about the Garrison Brothers right now. Cheers. Oh yeah. Yeah, so now I smell the Garrison Brothers. I'm just hit with a wave of almost ginger vanilla mixed together. Ginger vanilla. You know, that's what I'm getting. Wonderful. Almost a little bit of a swimming pool chlorine smell, which almost sometimes comes across over as almost a bit of a floral thing going on. That's what I'm getting right now, which is interesting. It's literally swimming pool chlorine. And that is not, you know, sometimes you'll say something's tasty notes and it might sound negative, but, oh, you know, but no, this is just, it's balanced with everything else. It's balanced with vanilla. There's a little bit of brown sugar in there, you know, baking spice, you know, kind of all the classic stereotypical bourbon stuff, but it's very unique, and you can just smell the thickness of the liquid almost. So let's take a sip. Yeah, so the thickness and the viscosity is the first thing that really jumps out at you with Garrison Brothers right now as well. Really coats the mouth. It's like almost taking a sip of something with the texture of wax. And so what I love about it is it hits your mouth and you just kind of, you can almost feel like your taste buds, your tongue, inside your mouth are cutting right through a waxy texture, and it just makes and it's a wonderful flavor on top of it all. So the combination of the texture and the flavor is just, you know, it kind of makes the eyes in the back of my head, a roll in the back of my head a little bit, which is why this has always been one of my favorite bourbon. I don't think I've ever tasted a bourbon I like more than Garrison Brothers. Let's have another sip. Yeah, you know, kind of burnt toast on the second smell. Burnt toast with butter layered onto it. Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful dram. Now I'm going to just run right back here to the Buzzard's Roost just as a comparative again. Yeah, much lighter. Lighter, almost like I'm almost getting a little bit of a hint of Coca-Cola kind of taste in this last sip. Just yeah, isn't that interesting? Yeah, I don't know if I've had that tasty note before in bourbon too ever. Almost tastes like, you know, you go back, and sometimes these will affect your palate in different ways, the order that you're having them. It almost tastes like sipping a little bit of a honey glazed Coca-Cola. Interesting. Just a wonderful, though. It's got a push of flavor in the middle that is absolutely excellent, this Buzzard's Roost. And I'm still struggling. In my last video, I think in part one, I was talking about, I couldn't quite come up with the description of it. It's reminding me of something I just can't quite get there for some reason. But it's a mix between almost like pouring honey on brown sugar and then baking it on a cinnamon bun. You know, and maybe maybe dazzle it in with a little bit of honey garlic chicken wing sauce. You know, it's just absolutely wonderful. Maybe a little bit of plum, a little bit of sweet and sour. All of that's kind of going on here with Buzzard Roost. And I gotta say, Buzzard Roost, these are the two favorite bourbons I've probably ever had, are top notch for me. This is standing up really well. This is really nice. One more sip out of curiosity. Yeah. Yeah, and remember, this is 52.5%. These other two are both 47. You can't go wrong with any of these three. Very, very easy to drink. Sweet, caramel, burnt vanilla, cinnamon bun. A nice long finish with all of them. All of them have a certain amount of texture. If I find sometimes if a bourbon or whiskey is too thin, it kind of takes away. Well, none of these have that problem. These are all wonderful, So, anyways, folks, I've been rambling for a bit here, but if you've got any of these, let me know what your thoughts are on these, or hopefully you enjoyed sipping something, one of these brands, as you watched and compared our tasting notes. And folks, I hope you have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk again later, and see you again soon.